Hi everyone, my name is Dhruv Shah from Smira Foundation, and you're listening to the Kurerie podcast.
So, hi, Dhruv. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you for agreeing to speak with us on the Kurerie podcast. We're very excited for you to talk about Smira Foundation and talk about yourself and your journey as well.
Sure, thank you.
First off, first things first, could you tell us a bit about yourself and your journey into social impact and change making?
Hi, my name is Dhruv, and right now, I am an athlete, by the way. I do short distance racing, India and international as well. I have a world record, which is of doing 1,200 kilometers in 84 hours. So I'm the youngest in the world to do that. Apart from that, I am also into various kinds of meditations and ancient arts over here in India. And I'm a student and I'm also part of my family business. So that's a bit about me, about the social aspect. I
Mm-hmm.
have I've recently started doing that. I've been inspired by Varsha and Naomi, who were the founders, and they enrolled me into this. And I'm glad I'm over here because I can experience the emotional side and I can really contribute to the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing to hear that you're an athlete and you have a world record. So we're very honored
Thank
to
you.
have you on this podcast. Congratulations.
Thank
It's
you.
like a huge
Thank you so
deal.
much.
So you mentioned that you joined on when Smira, I guess, had started. I know Vasha,
Yeah.
who's also one of the members of Kurerie, which is where the connection comes from. But could you
Mm-hmm.
just tell me a little bit more about how you joined on Smira Foundation, and you could also tell me we could segue into like what Smira Foundation is and what it is that you do.
I'll tell you the incident when Varsha, really found out that, what inspired her to, get this to what it is right now.
Yeah.
And it was a weekend, basically, and she was, cleaning all her cupboard and all of that stuff. And while she was removing the clothes, there was this person, the caretaker's daughter was over there. And she was, taking one of the one clothes and she was, uh, wearing it kind of and placing it in front of her in front of mirror, and she was seeing and she was wondering how she would look if she had the same for herself. And she could Varsha could see the smile on her face. But while all this was going on and she was all happy about it, her mom shouted and she said, keep those clothes down, they are not ours. And she got sad and she kept the clothes down. And that moment there was this everything shifted at that moment. And Varsha thought of giving her these clothes. And when she gave it to her, that was the moment when the transformation happened. And
Mm.
Varsha really got connected to the child, and both of them got really happy. And that day, I remember Varsha sharing this with me, and she was like, "I found a sister in that girl." So that's how it was. And after that day, she went and shared this with Naomi, who's the other founder. And she told her that this is what happened, this is my experience, and she shared all of that. And what Naomi told is, if giving away to one person can contribute so much to both the sides, then what it would be like if we do it on a larger surface, larger platform.
Mm.
And what touched me at that moment was the sense of responsibility that came up, and the aspect of really expanding this thing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what hooked on for me, and we all teamed up from that day. And yeah, we started from there. That's how the start was.
Yeah, nice. Thank you for sharing that story. I think most social impact projects and most initiatives right now in the world usually come or start from personal stories. So I think it was very important for you to share that with people. And I hope that people listening also realize that they can look like inwards to their history and things that have happened to them to figure out sort of those things which need changing in the world. So yeah, thank you.
True.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for telling us that story. But now let's talk a bit more about Smira. So I know that Smira does clothing drives where
Yep.
you get donated clothes. Okay, tell us a bit more about that.
So yeah, we started this on 15th of August, which is the Indian Independence Day, and we started it in a city named Pune over here. And we had a few friends who we made volunteers first, and we went on a drive, and we got the clothes. So since it was the beginning, we emptied our cupboards basically, the ones which we did not need anymore. So
Yeah.
we collected the clothes like that. We got our friends, we teamed up with our friends, and we went out. We got to a NGO, and we donated the clothes over there in bulk. And that was the first drive which happened with the team, with the support of everyone, and
Yeah.
on a larger platform. So we started from Pune, going ahead in around 6 months of approx time, we expanded to the financial capital of India, which is Mumbai, and we did the drive over there in a week's time. Once we were over there, and it was done by Naomi, and it was really awesome because by that time, eh, how we want to go about it, the structure, the teamwork, and the coordination, all of this was improvised since we had the experience of doing it in Pune,
Mm,
and that was very smooth, and really like the volunteers enjoyed. So joy is one of the thing that we also look upon, that volunteers get while they are in the drive. So that
yeah.
was really awesome. And um, post that we were looking to do it in various small places. Like we did it in Goa, we did it in Karnataka as well, in India, and recently we have expanded to Nigeria. And
Yeah.
yeah, so we are pretty glad that we could cause that. We are looking forward to expand to other places in the world as well, other countries and other cities. So that's with the expansion part of this project.
Yeah, I really like that you also mentioned that joy is definitely one of the things that you want the volunteers to feel when they're volunteering with you, when they're donating with to Smira Foundation and everything. And I think that that's so important. But
Right.
swerving away from like joy for a minute, um, I'd like to ask because, as you mentioned, Smira has been going on for, I think, about over a bit over a year now since it started in
Yes.
August,
Right.
right? Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So, in that year of getting donations, of doing drives, what do you think has been like your biggest setback or something that you feel happened that was a major issue with Smira Foundation, and what did you learn from that experience?
I would say enrollment and causing effective team and teamwork. To go deeper about this, in the somewhere in around before we expanded to Mumbai part phrase, it was more of like we were in a space, and how would we expand, and if we expand, how would we get the right amount of clothes, the right clothes, and the volunteers were enrolled into doing this in a place which you know it's pretty different than Pune. So there were a lot of concerns like that, and um, how we resolve that is by connecting through more and more people, by changing our purpose, the conversations that we had with people basically,
Mm,
and really showing them that what's in for the volunteers, what's in for the accountables, and what's in for the core committee of this project. So once they could see something for themselves and for the Smira and for the world outside, that is when I would say, people started to get enrolled and were willingly wanting to join us. So that's one of the biggest transformation that I could see, I saw. And yeah, I'm really touched about that aspect. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. I think like I think this is something that like every change maker faces when they're starting their own project or their own initiative is teamwork and just finding a team that can connect with like what you're doing and the biggest issue. And you also mentioned that another thing was expanding, but I think it's also very important to note that you were not afraid to expand. You didn't feel like you needed to keep this initiative to yourself. You wanted to impact more people, and now you're in two
Yeah,
countries, and I'm sure you're going to expand to even more countries. So
definitely.
moving away from like your the big setback for Smira Foundation, what would you say has been your biggest success so far?
Our biggest success would have been, you know, really touching and inspiring the volunteers and impacting their lives, not just over here as this project, um, their personal lives as well. And apart from that, causing expansion, having the vision to go outside our own country and facing challenges of their countries as well. I mean, you get to connect with the people outside,
Yeah,
and there are different type of challenges over there, and solving those challenges, that's one of the fun parts. And yes,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like it's a learning curve, and as time goes on, we find that
so
like certain things are like easier to handle, and the things that like maybe you worried about at the beginning of starting the initiative will just be like so easy to solve. And yeah, of course I'm rooting for Smira Foundation. So yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
okay, so could you tell me a bit more about why it's so important for people to donate their clothes? Because environmental wise and climate change wise, it's important for people not to I guess shop with like fast fashion stores, but it
Yeah.
also impacts people who are in need. But like in your own words, could you just tell me more about like the importance of what Smira Foundation is doing?
So we donate clothes which are second-handed or at times which are even new. So after we conducted a survey over here locally in India, um, we found out that a lot of people have, huge amount of clothes in their cupboards, and it's just lying over there and it's not used.
Yeah.
And it's more of like from a mindset of storing, having more clothes, being on the trend, and the clothes which are no not anymore on the trend, they are just there in the cupboard. And it just keeps on multiplying, the clothes just keep on going on and on. And then there are certain kind of people who do not have any clothes to wear,
Mm-hmm.
or foundations, NGOs, which really need the support of different kinds. One of the supports is having clothes, having wearables for people who are there in that NGO, or are in a certain kind of treatment in a certain medical NGO or a medical clinic kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So uh, you know basically being the bridge in that gap and providing the clothes to people who really need it. That's the first part of it. And there's also second part, which is about sustainability that comes in. Um,
Yeah.
and most of the clothes which are kind of old, I would say, or don't fit anymore as well, as good as the new clothes do, they are usually thrown and they end up going in landfills, or it's a part of textile waste.
Mm.
And that is where sustainability and climate factor comes in, where we are providing the clothes which, let's say, A doesn't find any more useful, to B, who is willing to accept it from the other end and is able to use that cloth fully to their needs. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, thank you, Drew. Thank you so much. So there are like two aspects that I guess Smira is trying to address: the sustainability issue when it comes to fashion and clothes and trends, but also I guess aiding and partnering with organizations to help them as well, like achieve their missions. So yeah, thank you so much for that, Drew.
Thank you, thank you.
I think you've sort of answered this, but you could still talk about it a bit about like how you think Smira Foundation has evolved from the first idea you had of just a few of your friends coming together with volunteers to donate clothes. How do you think it has evolved from that point till now? What things have you learned? What things have changed? What things are
Hmm.
working better? And how has the idea? Because I know that I've been following the journey of Smira Foundation from, I'd say, the beginning or close to the beginning. And I remember that another thing that Smira Foundation was focused on was also getting food from
Yeah.
restaurants. So I know that that's one thing that has evolved. But if you could just tell me a bit more about how the idea has grown and how you have changed to better address the issues that face like people today.
Got it, got it. So, one of the major keys I would say in expansion, to be specific, would be how are we, providing values back to the people who are volunteering with us, or who are the part of the core team, or who have a certain kind of accountability in this project. So, really looking up to that. So in the beginning, we were not about that at all. It was more about, okay, this is the environmental issue, and this is what we are doing to resolve it. But
Mm,
recently, around in last probably 5 to 6 months, we have taken up that how we provide something back to the volunteers. So normally we have discussions with the volunteers, what are they looking for, in their life, what are they doing right now, and what do they want to do in the future.
mm,
And once that is noted, we give them tasks as per as that can forward them. For example, there are few people who see themselves going in marketing in the future, or and digital marketing in future, and for them we have given them social media to handle the social media work. Then
mm,
we see few people who are into who are really good with communications and really enjoy and really get the positive side and the kids and the joyful side of them. So this target of people, we keep it in, whenever there is a drive, these are the ones who go in the drive, so that they can really uplift the mood and enhance everything around them.
mm,
Then there are few people who plan to pursue MBA in future, and who want to learn the management aspect of it. So for them, we have roles like operations or managing the whole volunteer core team, and all of that. So they can learn how to manage these teams, and they
yeah.
can show their effective leadership in that aspect. So how we put it out there is, what they do over here in this place, in this project. It's similar of what they do in their personal lives as well. So if they can cause a breakthrough over here, they can cause the same breakthrough in their personal lives as well.
Mm.
So this is one of the um, core thing, and this is what we have caught on and actually cause expansion to various places.
Yeah, I think that's so important. Like making sure that the people that are volunteering with you, the people that are working with you are also gaining from the experience. So it's not just like you're just taking from them, you're also finding out how you could help them build their skills, how you could
Yes.
give them jobs that are in line with what they want to achieve. And that is so
Yeah.
important to just show that. And it just makes like volunteering even more rewarding, them
True that.
realizing that not only like are they helping their communities and society, that they're also building up themselves and beyond building their profession, their networks with like people, like-minded people, like other volunteers. They're also like
Yeah.
building their skills, and I think that that's really important. And I think that that's something that's very admirable that Smira Foundation is doing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Welcome. With everything you told me about Smira Foundation, I'd like you to tell us and the listeners the impact of recycling their clothes on the environment, on their community, and why people should recycle and reuse and donate their clothes.
Okay. So recycling will forward sustainability, and the clothes don't end up in landfills. The and Apart from that, there are many people who just have this mindset of stocking in the clothes, and clothes that they do not use at all. Many times they are just completely new. Many times they are out of trend or fashion, and at times it's just there's some defect in it, or it doesn't fit them anymore.
Mm,
So instead of it just being lying down in a cupboard, or discarding it in waste and it going in some landfill, or over here in India, people at least burn out things which are waste, so that causes a lot of air pollution and soil pollution as well.
mm,
So uh, not looking towards that side, and instead, educating people and showing them the profitability in donating the clothes, and giving it to the people who are in actual need of it. Like for example, I personally went on a drive around 2 to 3 months back, and over here in India it's a rainy season right now,
mm,
and this drive was specific, happening to be specific, this drive was happening on the road. It was not in an NGO or any clinic, or any, not of that kind. It was on the road for people who are living on the road completely. So there
okay.
was this person who was wearing torn clothes basically, and it was the rainy season and it gets pretty soggy over here, so he did not have you know medium to dry himself. His clothes were dirty, and
Mm,
he was just shivering, kind of, and his health was not looking fine. So we donated him few clothes which are more of thick material, and which are more of like coat type of thing,
mm,
waterproof. So that's what we provided to him. And at the end, what touched me was when I gave him the clothes, he just did not smile back. He also held my hand. And
mm.
such experiences, they bring fulfillment within yourself. They motivate you to do more and contribute more and be part. It's more about just, it just gets you happy and joyful. And yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think many times we take certain things for granted. Like, yeah, it
Yeah.
just shows like the great work that Smira Foundation is doing. And I really hope that other people take a note from this experience you had as well, and just like donate their clothes, even if it's not to Smira Foundation. And again, you can donate to Smira Foundation, but we'll talk about that a bit later. But
Yeah.
try to like give out things that you even things you need but you know would help someone. I think it's so important. Yeah,
We
thank
saw that aspect as well. I mean, there were a few people, after when they saw the pictures, they saw the videos, they saw uh, how other people are, really excited about getting these clothes, and
yeah.
how this is impacting their lives, and how emotional certain kind of people get after receiving the clothes. They were like, they just gave off clothes which were actually from for them they were using, and few of them, literally
Mm,
went out and purchase some clothes just for the donating aspect of it.
yeah,
And like specific kind of clothes, like the raincoat, or a certain kind of shoes, you would say, or certain kind of summer wear. They just
yeah.
purchased it just for the sake of providing it to the needful people.
Thank you very much, Dhruv. Okay, so could you tell me a bit more about Smira Foundation's future plans?
So we right now in the space that we are in, we are completely on the expansion mode. We want to expand into various countries, and really deal with different challenges. We are open to deal with different challenges. We are open to face whatever comes in our way, and really learn, because learning is one thing that we really want over here and our volunteers to have.
Mm,
And said that we expanded it in India, but what struck us is the learning that you get, the experience that you get by expanding outside your own country. It's not something that you're going to get expanding over here, just doing it in India. So that's when the idea of Nigeria came in our mind, and since we knew people over there, uh, that we expand in Nigeria. So that's already happened. I guess it happened a month or two ago. I'm not sure about the timeline, but it recently happened. And going further in a quarter's time or a two, we are looking forward to expand in Philippines as well. So that's what we are looking to. Yeah.
wow. Yeah, I'm very excited to see. how these expansions go and how you continue to make change, not just in India, but in other countries as well. So yeah, thank you very much for answering that
Thank
question,
you.
Dhruv. You mentioned that you are an athlete. You've achieved a lot actually. Again, the world record is a huge deal. But if you could just tell us how you balance your time with all that you do and with Smira Foundation and making impact.
I would say if you find your heart somewhere and if you find your purpose in something, no matter how busy you are or whatever it is, you learn to prioritize that thing. And that's what I've been doing. So, yes, it works out fully for me. I do not have any time conversations, irrespective of whatever comes really in my life. Yes, I'm available for this fully.
Nice, nice. And I guess that's like it's important because you need to find your passion and you need to find what gets you up in the morning. And I guess that is the situation that you found yourself in. What does change mean to you?
Hmm. So change means doing an impact to the humanity in a very positive, futuristic, and a very long-lasting way that, changes the way we look at things, the way we look
Mhm.
at life,
Mm.
and the way we look at humanity completely, that transform it. So that's how I would put it now.
Nice. The way we look, change is something that transforms the way we look at life and the way we look at humanity. I love that, and I think that that's a really good definition of change. As you know, or I think you know, Kurerie means change in my language. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So we're really focused on showing individuals, like people in society, how they can make a change in their community because not everyone is going
Uh-huh.
to work with the UN or to create their own initiative. And some people will. And I'm sure that people who have created their own initiatives and are creating impact are also listening to this podcast just to figure out how they can learn from you and your experiences. But some people might just be trying to listen to find out like what they can do in their homes or their communities to create change. So I think it was very important for you to tell us what change means to you. So thank you for that. But my
Thank
next
you.
question also has to do with change. And as a young person, you are creating impact in your community. So what do you think is like the winning formula for a young person who wants to make change in their community? Or like what tips do you have for young people who want to make impact in their community?
Find where your heart is, figure out the purpose, be in communication and be in integrity and spread happiness, spread joy, bring laughter, and uh, yeah, that's about it. About apart from that, I would say is uh, team and teamwork. That's one of the critical aspect that you get to learn along with this way,
Mm.
and that's one of the very important things. Why one of the side things and why one of the most important things why I'm over here and what inspires me to really work as a person who is managing the operations. So yeah, that's definitely a lot of learning.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you so much, Ruth. Those are really good points and really good tips.
Hmm.
You say talking about teamwork to finding that thing that you are passionate about and you want to change and leading with integrity. And again, teamwork is so important because yes, you could make change by yourself, but it would be so
So I would say, I
okay,
mean,
go ahead.
we tried to do the change by ourselves, but how many people are we actually going to impact? I mean, we can't do everything by ourselves. The
Mhm.
power of being in a community, the power of being in a team, that's just that's something else, and you got to really experience that. And the bigger things always happen when a group of people are together, and that's what we have been trying to do. I mean, we can go solo and do this whole day, but we would still not be able to do what we are doing right now with the help of these, highly motivated and, purposeful volunteers that we have. So credit goes to them.
Yeah, that's so important. So working with people, sharing your ideas, sharing your passion, the purpose of your initiative, and bringing other people into your impact and into your change is very important. So thank you so much, Drew, for saying
Thank you.
that and for that piece of advice. Now that you've told us a few tips for how young people could create change, can make change, could you tell us more about like your future plans personally, not Smira wise? Because of course, I
Hmm.
assume that you will continue to work with Smira Foundation and continue to create change and impact through them. But what can people expect from you?
From me, okay, that's a question. Okay, I would. My future plans are of when it comes to the contribution aspect. Yes, I do look forward to give back to humanity in some way or the other. If it's not Smira, it would be some other project or
Mm,
something, definitely, because what I get back is the joy, the contribution aspect, the love, the affinity,
mm-hmm,
and the growth that I get personally. So yes, that coming to that socially, yes. Apart from that, I look forward for myself. I would be applying for my future studies to Canada, and meanwhile, I'll be a part of the family business that's going on. And yes, I do look forward for contributing socially. If it's not Smira, it would be some other project. But the kind of growth that I see, the kind of joy that I get, the love and affinity that's provided, um, I will always be part of something like this.
mm,
And speaking about Smira, yes, we do have uh, this thing that we have taken on. We have taken it on for many years. It's not ending anywhere near.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's always gonna be there.
Nice, nice. Well, I look forward to like seeing all that you achieve and all Smira Foundation achieves. But could you tell us where people can connect with Smira Foundation, follow the work of Smira Foundation, and also connect with you as well?
So we have our Instagram page. It's named Project Smira. So y'all can anyone who wants to connect with us, they can message us over there, and we'll get back to them in within 12 hours.
Nice, nice. And of course, if people can donate, can they reach out to you through your like Instagram or your social media pages?
Yes, they can. And in fact, if anybody wants to join us and take this project up in any corner of the world, we would be really happy to provide you all the support that we can. And let's take this up ahead, is what I'll say. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So again, if you'd like to support Smira Foundation in any way, or you'd like to join, be a part of the team, or even create like sort of a chapter in your country or your city, definitely reach
Yes.
out to at Project Smira on Instagram. We usually like ask this question to like all the podcast guests, and it's about like your top three recommendations. So it could be anything that you are loving right now and you would like to share and you want people to use or get in touch with as well. So it could be a book, a website, a podcast, someone that you're following that's whose content you're loving, a show, a movie, anything really. So yeah, your top three recommendations. Oh, and it could even be more than three recommendations if you have more than three. So yeah.
All right. So I'll share from where I'm channeling uh, the energy for doing this project, to be specific in that domain. Um, First, it would be a program named Landmark International, which is a part of Banto Group. Um, so that's one of it. So I do a program over there. So that's
Mm,
one of the phrases from where I'm channeling the energy from to run this project. Apart from that, it would be a book named Rich Dad and Poor Dad. It gives me aspect of how I want to go ahead about things and cause effective actions to do that. Do any effective actions for expansion.
mm,
Uh, Apart from that, mm, it would be connecting with myself and my soul, which actually comes from me doing uh, ancient meditation in
Mm.
India, which is called Vipassana,
Oh,
and it's a meditation that goes back to like in the times of Buddha, you would say, or even before that.
mm,
So that's what keeps me at peace, cool, and lets me see other people's, you know, the vulnerable side of them, the true side of them, and see that side which is unspoken of. So how I, optimize that is whenever they are talking, I really have a look and what truly matters for them as a part of emotion, and from there we kind of give them the appropriate task. So these three things I would say are kind of the pillars for me personally, performing whatever I'm performing at Smira.
nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dhruv. Thank you for your time. I hope that you've enjoyed the interview and yeah,
I
thank you.
did. I enjoyed a lot, and
Yay.
it was really, really, really good to, communicate with you. There are a few things that opened out for me
Mm,
and for this project, and I could see how far we have come from where we were, and it gave me a slight idea of how I would want to go ahead with the things. So yes, this was definitely worth my time, and I hope it was for you, and it was
mm.
really, really great connecting with you.
Yes, like I definitely learned a lot, and I'm glad that you learned a lot as well because sometimes it's just good to have like that to just
Yeah.
reflect and look at like where you're coming from and what you achieved. Because I think even just as people in social impact, we forget sometimes to just take a look back and see like, oh, these are the things that we as an organization were struggling with in the past, but we've like overcome and we're at this point now. And things that seemed like such huge issues, things that we're solving in like a few minutes. So I'm really glad that you were able to just see like how fast Project Smira or Smira Foundation has come. And I'm really glad and I'm excited to see like everything that you achieve. And again, if you would like to connect with Smira Foundation and the work they're doing, you could just go on Instagram, Project Smira, and like you're doing great work. You're impacting a lot of people, and I'm very excited for what the
Yes.
future holds for you, Dhruv, as and
Yes.
Mirror Foundation.
Thank you. And I acknowledge you personally for, putting in the efforts, putting in the time, and, causing this and, providing a space where, we can talk about things that are necessary, and uh, put them in a place, which is like, anybody can come from the whole world, and, they can be a part of this. So
Yes.
thank you from, being that middle person over there, and I really acknowledge you for being a superb person, and
Thank you.
yeah. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dhruv. Thank you for listening to today's episode. You could check out the article about this interview on our website, www.kurerie.com. And you could also follow us on social media at ma.kurerie.